week ago. Sub-zero temperatures, blue skies, no wind, hard-packed snow. But things changed fast. Next day it rained, and I don't think it's gone off since then. And that's why I'm sitting here in my camper van bringing you this YouTube video instead of sitting on a nice open hillside somewhere basking in the winter sunshine. There'll be more of those good days though. All things must pass. And I guess the weather patterns are like life itself in many ways. We all go through good times and bad times. And I guess I've had my share of bad times in the year just about gone. This time last year, I was looking forward to a new year and planning a month-long trip to the sun to escape the fag end of a Scottish winter. Now, that trip didn't happen. Towards the end of January, I was wheeled into hospital after a bad attack of angina. A week later, I was in theatre for a double heart bypass and a replacement aortic valve operation. Now, the good news was my heart was apparently in pretty good shape. And you might have expected that after a lifetime of athletics and mountaineering, but the plumbing around my heart was pretty dire. But I was lucky. My father died from ischemic heart disease when he was only 52. Fortunately, my basic fitness meant that I recovered from the operation pretty quickly. And I was back on the hills within a couple of months, albeit small hills. And as winter became spring and then summer, I felt better and better, and I was getting fitter and fitter. Gina and I had short trips away in the camper van whenever we could. The Moray Coast is a great favourite of ours, visiting places like Pennon, the famous location of the film Local Hero, and of course Findhorn, one of our pretty regular jaunts. And just after my operation in hospital, one of the nurses asked me what my sort of immediate targets were for my recovery. And on the spur of the moment, I said I wanted to take my two granddaughters up their first Munro. Now, my youngest granddaughter, Grace, wasn't so keen. She's not so keen in walking. But her sister, Charlotte, was. So one day in August, with three of her friends and my son, Gregor, we wandered up Cairngorm's Windy Ridge, or the Strawn and Arnoch, to the summit. Descended down onto the Cairngorm Plateau, had a picnic lunch at one of my favourite spots on the Cairngorms above Lochan, then descended via the notorious goat track. It was a great day, and after several months of taking it comparatively easy, I felt I was ready for the hills again. But first of all, we were heading to France. Now, Gina and I normally have a month in the campervan in the spring and another month in the autumn. And in the past few years, we've been to Belgium, Luxembourg, Austria, Slovenia, Italy, Spain and Portugal. Now, this time we decided just to spend a month in France. We're very fond of France. And my very first overseas backpacking trip was in France a good 45 years ago, when a bunch of us hiked the Robert Louis Stevenson Trail, a long walk Stevenson had described in an early book of his called Travels with a Donkey. And this was through the Cevennes Mountains in southern France. And I was keen to revisit the area again, so we took the Channel Tunnel to Calais and headed south, spending our first night on the banks of the River Loire before following the river into the lovely city of Orléans. Now, the start or finish of the Robert Louis Stevenson Trail is the fascinating town of Le Puy-en-Velay in the heart of the Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes region. It's a fascinating town with these volcanic basalt plugs rising from the cobbled streets around the Cathedral Notre-Dame de Puy, historically the French starting point for the Way of St. James or the Santiago de Compostela pilgrimage to western Spain. The highlight of Le Puy for me was climbing up the hundreds of steps to the ancient chapel of Saint Michel de Aiguille, which is perched on the very summit of this basalt upthrust. Incredibly, it was built in 961, long before there was any town here. And being so far south, inevitably Gina and I were drawn like a magnet to the Alps, as we always are. And our favourite campsite at Les Orales in Chamonix below Mont Blanc itself. We love the area. We love the aiguilles that rise from the Chamonix Valley and our usual walk up to the source of the River Arve. About 20 years ago, we hiked the Tour of Mont Blanc, and I noticed in the Search for Sights app that one of our memorable camping spots on that hike was now a campervan air. It's at a place called Chapeau in the Tarentaise Alps, so we thought we'd go and check it out. And I'm glad we did, and we spent a few nights there in amongst the marmots and the mountains, and of course all the hikers from all parts of the world hiking the trail just as we did 2 decades ago. We followed the trail for a bit just for old time's sake, and were delighted to see the Aiguille de Glacier rise out of the mist from the Val de Glacier. For the Tour of Mont Blanc hikers, their next stop was Courmayeur in Italy. For us, it was the start of our long drive north again. Autumn saw us checking out some more airs in the northwest of Scotland at Gairloch and Knocan in Wester Ross, areas where we feel very much at home. And while we were in the area, well, why not visit one of our favourite campsites near Achiltibuie and a special sunset over the lovely Summer Isles. And how about something a little different to finish up on? A visit to the Sami Ling Tibetan Centre at Eskdalemuir in the Scottish borders, a place for quietude and reflection, and an ideal location for looking back on the year just gone and forward to the year ahead. So what will 2025 hold for us all? Who knows? My hope for you is that it's a time when you can perhaps realise your dreams, travel over new horizons, experience and enjoy new challenges. I wish you every success and blessing for 2025. May the road always rise before you and the wind be ever at your back. See you next time. Bye-bye.